But the worst part about wearing a necklace when you're a woman, aside from it getting caught on things, does yours ever like circle one of your boobs? It's the worst. And then in all the pictures, that's all I see is the damn necklace around the one boob.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I do too.
It drives me nuts. And why doesn't anybody say anything? Because it's a guy taking the picture and they don't even think about those things.
Or they like it.
Oh, girl, I think you're onto something.
Sometimes life just sucks, and sometimes it freaking rocks. We will discuss all the things from family and real estate to travel and just life in general. So take a seat, or don't, you do you, and welcome to the Lambadass Podcast.
I'm so excited for our topic today. Do you know what we're talking about?
Valentine's Day.
I'm so excited. Well, you looked at me like, oh, what are we talking about?
Oh, I didn't know if we were going to go into our special client event that was Valentine's focused or themed.
Oh, we can
first, or if we were going to talk about our individual Valentine's Day.
This is why I keep her around, because she keeps me sane and she
Which
keeps
is
me
crazy,
focused.
Because I have ADD as well, but yet I can do it for you, but not always for myself because I'm accountable to somebody else. But if it's up to me and showing up for myself, I'm like, oh, I'm last on the list.
Oh, okay.
It's really interesting. Yeah. I actually had a date a couple weeks ago, and within 5 minutes of me chatting with this guy, he's in real estate as well, but he's in commercial real estate.
Okay.
He said, you're an ADHD girl, huh? And I said, oh my God, how did you know that? He's like, I knew it the minute you sat down because you're like, bah, 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 bah.
I have all these things to tell you.
All these like 10 subjects. And he was such a great conversationalist, and he could keep on track. So with people like that, you can just go.
We feed off of people like that.
Yes.
It's funny because we have a client right now who I love. You know who I'm talking about, I think, by just the way I say that. I love this client. And he is so sweet, but he's a little bit older. And I talk slower, like my whole demeanor, but I love him. I just want to hug him. He's such a sweet, sweet being. And you're right. But even slowing down, I'm exhausted. Like when I get in the car, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had so many thoughts in my head and I had to say them so slowly. And I don't have to speak slowly because he's older or anything like that. I do it because he has told me multiple times, can you slow down just a little bit? I'm like, yes. Even to where I send him contracts before he signs anything or disclosures, and then he prints them up and then he goes over them and then he's like, just come over and answer my questions. It's better than me going through it for him because I go through it too fast because that's what I do for a living. So we came up with this system and we both love it. So I think he loves me too. He doesn't listen to podcasts. I don't think. I'll have to ask him next time I see him. But if he does, I'll let him know we talked about him. Without talking about it. Anyways, so our event was a raging success.
So fun.
It was amazing.
What was it called? We came up with such a cute name too. Valentine's something and Vino.
Hold on. I have it right here.
It was...
Oh, Jackson messaged us, by the way. Probably a proof for... something.
Let's just multitask, get some work done while we're filming right now.
Vino, Vines, and Valentines.
So cute.
Shout out ChatGPT for coming up with that one.
I love a good alliterated title.
I do too. I am here for all the alliterations. If I can find one for just about anything, I'm here for it. Did we do one for our next event?
It's not alliterated, but yes, we do have a title for our next event.
What's it called?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. I thought you were that good.
It's really cute.
I remember it being cute.
I know that because I can remember a feeling. I just don't remember the details.
I love it. Well, that's exactly the point. So we had this event, and what we did was we took 2 big party buses. Billy, where were you? Oh, you don't drink. Nope. Never mind. I'm sorry. Well, the next event Bianca needs to come to because I think she'll really love it. But anyways, Billy's a client of ours and we love him to pieces. But
the next event is female focused. That's why you weren't included in that invite when she said.
Oh, that did sound rude. Yeah, you can't come decorate cookies with us. But anyways, we rented 2 big limo buses. I mean, these things were huge.
Yours was huge.
It was.
I didn't even realize that until because I never even got on it because I handed, I think, David the stuff and the bus driver all of the party snacks. And then it wasn't until I saw the photos I was like, oh, geez, yours was humongous.
It was huge. So I think it was a motorhome.
Yes, I
And
can see that.
I think that they just it was huge. Like I felt like they had somebody on the back. You know how like firefighters on their fire trucks, sometimes they have somebody in the back to like steer the back end. I feel like they needed
man.
this. Yes. I didn't even know that's what it was called. But
Firefighter wife for almost 20 years. So yes, that's why.
I love it. I love it. But so we rented these buses and we started out by having everybody come to our house. And a lot of people Ubered, which I really liked that idea. And we served them breakfast items. So we started with mimosas and we had fruit and muffins and stuff like that, just to kind of put something in their bellies. And I think starting off with the mimosas was a fantastic idea because
we ran out. I thought we would have enough for the bus as well, but nope.
And we bought
before we got on the bus.
We bought Magnums too. How many did we buy?
4.
We bought 4 Magnums and went through all 4 of them. Mind you, in the beginning of any event that we have, generally speaking, before the alcohol gets involved, people are very shy to themselves. Like a lot of people don't walk up and are like, hey, like we are. They're a little more reserved and stuff. So we wanted to start opening up people and having them converse with others and stuff like that. So we thought that would be a great way. And it was. We were not wrong. And then we waited for everybody to get there. Everybody was asked to arrive by 9. Buses got there at 9:30. And then we cleaned up the mess really quick. Bless my children. They still left the table outside with the tablecloth. I'm like, really? I literally cleared everything. All you had to do was break down the table. But anyways.
We were hustling that morning. We got a lot done that morning. I just put myself back into that morning, and like I remember, it was so cold that day, but it was like burning up because like running around and
and it was kind of a little gloomy. Thank God it didn't rain because
we were worried about that.
Well, and one of the wineries that we went to. Anyways, okay, so we get on these buses and we go to Temecula. Temecula is about a good hour drive from us. Would you say like 45 minutes to an hour? But they have some great wineries there. So we took our past clients and people who refer us. You had to register. You had to RSVP. And it was the first 40... Was it 40? Did we have a total of 50 people?
I think it was 40. I think 50 total, but then it had to include the 4 of us. So 46 max with the bus capacity.
Yes.
Or the shuttle capacity.
Which is only 23 couples. Mm-hmm. So it literally was like a first come, first serve basis. And our text messages, how we did it this time to make sure that it was fair to everybody is we sent out text messages at the same time. So literally everybody got the same text message like within seconds of one another because I wanted people, 1, to find sitters for their children, because obviously this was an adults only event. And 2, I wanted people to come. So it was like, let's go, like figure this nonsense out. So anyways, we get to Altissima. We had a wonderful time there. What we did was we just bought a bunch of wine and we had them serve our clients, and whatever wine we didn't use, we got to take home with us, which is great because that's who we generally use for our closing gifts. We normally give them a bottle of champagne and then they get a gift card. Anyways, so we were able to do that. And then we went to Leoness. And in between the 2 wineries, we fed everybody. So we made sack lunches and they had sandwiches, chips. What else is in there?
Just sandwiches and chips. But because we had snack boxes on the way down too that had different kinds of nuts, the beef stick, chocolates. I think that's, and then the Motrin was in the snack packs.
So we gave everybody a little baggie. They were so cute, and we put the chomp jerky sticks in there.
Mm-hmm.
We put
the Milano
cookies, and then we had chocolates and peanuts, and then we put Tums. Was it Tums?
Motrin and Tums.
Motrin and Tums because we're old and we don't want anybody having any issues with drinking one.
Acid reflux.
Yeah, I'm telling it's a thing. It's a thing. And then on the way back, okay, first of all, can we talk about the difference in the party buses? Because my party bus was fun, having a good time, but like we had people like that were like chugging out of bottles and stuff like that. You, however...
We had quite a party on our bus.
Okay, and I am telling you right now that David, in my opinion, completely like lit that fire and everybody just fanned the flames. Like that's just how that happens. Because what I did was I put Nicole and Sweetie Pie in one van because almost all of my clients, if not all of them, know Sweetie Pie. Most people know Sweetie Pie anyways, poor guy. And everybody knows you because you also are in contact with our clients during the whole escrow process. Mm-hmm. So 100% of our people know you and Sweetie Pie. And then on my bus, obviously, everybody would know me. And then we put Janelle, because we put Janelle's clients and some of my clients on the same bus together. But your bus was a whole nother level.
Well, I also have to say this, because my bus had a lot of single ladies on our bus.
Oh, you did.
not.
That's true.
I had like 7 single ladies, I think, on my bus. And then David and I co-hosted, which I thought that was a good mix. And he was, David was the DJ, and that's what got the party rolling. Oh, and also when he walked up, like, oh, I know we're out of champagne, but who wants a beer? He just like grabs them from the fridge and starts passing them around. And that got the party going. I mean, people were on that pole, even though the guy said it's not a strip pole. People were on that strip pole.
No, he said it was a stripper pole.
Oh, I thought he said it wasn't. It was just to help you get up.
Well, okay, but I think he was messing with you, because then he's like, he goes, do you know the difference between a stripper pole and a regular pole or something
About
like
it
that?
spinning.
Yes.
Oh, and then it did spin. That's right. Someone spun around it. Yes, yes.
Jesus.
I think almost everyone got on the stripper pole on my bus.
Which is hilarious. So not everyone got on the stripper pole in my bus, but there were definitely people who got on the stripper pole. Because I'm telling you, like, that won the first winery, and people were like ready to rock and roll. And the funny part is again, we just bought 2 cases, I think, of wine.
Yeah, at both places.
And that was plenty. That was plenty to get everybody, feeling good and having a great time. Anyways, we make it back, and everybody, went on their way.
Oh, wait, but real quick.
Oh,
so Altice, what I loved about it too is we only went to 2 wineries, but they were so very different, like the setting. So Altissima was outside, had beautiful views of like Temecula Canyon. Is that what you would call it? Like the canyon area?
Yeah, because it is kind of like in the valley right there. Yes.
And you have that feeling almost like you're like in Italy.
It does look like
and it had a beautiful lawn, and it was just gorgeous outside with the heaters. And then at Leoness, we were in a barrel room. So it was kind of like dark and cozy. You almost felt underground.
Yes.
So I liked that contrast of having those 2 different settings.
I did too. And like I said, because Altissima was outside, I was really, really worried about the rain, because it had rained the day before and it poured the day after. And we're having like this freak storm here in California because it's back again. It's raining. Well, it was raining like crazy the last 2 days. But anyways, I was really grateful. And again, I didn't want to drive that far in the rain either. Like, that was also something that us Californians, we don't really drive when, like, David calls it hazard pay. He's like, if I have to go into the office today, it's hazard pay. I'm like, okay. So, it was such a great event. The other thing that I love that we did was that we told ladies, hey, if you want to come and bring a Valentine, you totally can. And obviously the men could come too and bring a friend if they wanted to as well. But I had more women ask me, hey, I don't have anybody to come with me. Is it okay if I come by myself? Or can I, because I'm single, can I bring a friend? And I'm like, absolutely. Like, we just want you to attend. So it made my heart very happy. We had so much fun, and I'm really looking forward to our next event.
I am too. Oh, and then on the way back, we had dessert too. So we
That's
had
right.
the heart-shaped
Macaroons.
Yes.
They were so good.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, for packaged macaroons, they were actually very good.
Costco does it again.
I know. They're such a, yes. We had lots of snacks. We didn't want anybody going hungry and stuff like that. And then actually a couple of our clients all like got together and went to the pub afterwards. Like, these people were
That just met.
Yes.
So now they have new friends.
I know, which makes me happy, because I think a reason why a lot of people don't come, well, we have a lot of people that do come, but for those that don't come, I think they're worried that they're not going to know anybody. So I think as our group and as our events grow, I think people are going to start remembering people and stuff. And even if they only hang out with them at our events, I still think that is so awesome that people, we're bringing people together one escrow at a time.
That's cute. I like that tagline.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I have an idea for that. Okay.
Don't forget.
So Valentine's Day, what'd you do, married lady?
Okay. So
what is Valentine's Day like for married? I mean, I remember in my married life.
Sure.
What is it for you in your married life?
Okay, so I will say, I think dating Valentines are better. I think that's the best. I think that's the best.
Disagree.
You will?
Because of my own Valentine's experience.
Oh, okay. No.
But
I mean, like,
go ahead.
When you're dating somebody serious.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So can I go back? I'm going to answer your question, but can I go back really quick?
Sure.
So when David and I were first dating, I remember one Valentine's Day, I kid you not, he picked me up We drove to Vegas,
Wow.
saw a show, had dinner, and he drove my ass home because I was like 19 and my dad's like, you're not staying anywhere. You're lucky I'm even letting you go to Vegas. Sweetie Pie's very thoughtful and very good at these things normally. So he's very loving. That's how he loves to show his appreciation. He loves to buy me things. He loves to do that stuff for me. So him doing that was so much fun. Like that was the best. But this Valentine's, I had kids who were all over the place. I had a kiddo who had lacrosse practice. I had one who had, I don't know if he had a practice or not, but he ended up going to church. And then my other kid, I think, worked. So, oh no, he had school. So he has school on Wednesdays. So anyways, what I did was I got up in the morning and David had training all week. So he was in the office all week and he's like, I can't believe somebody would plan training on Valentine's Day. He kept saying this, which is so cute. And I'm like,
I love that he thinks it's a national holiday.
bless him. And I'm like, babe, why? Like, this isn't something that people like really normally celebrate, like really big typically. And he goes, well, they must hate their wife or something. Like he was so annoyed. He must have said it to me like 5 or 6 times. And then, but I knew that him like going into the office, especially because it was raining, like we weren't having the best weather and stuff like that. Like I knew he was going to be annoyed. So I put a bottle of champagne. Actually, we had bought it when we went on our anniversary trip to Paris. So I was like, this is perfect. So I put it in the fridge and I chilled it. It's my favorite. It's Veuve, but it's the rosé. It's so good. Have you ever had it?
Not the rosé. No.
It's amazing and it's super expensive here. So the next time I'm in Europe, I will bring you home a bottle.
I would love that.
Which means I'm going to have to check a bag, which you know makes me want to hyperventilate. But I will check a bag for you because it's so good. And it's worth it to buy it there because it is that much cheaper. So anyways, I put it in the fridge. The house was all clean. My house is normally clean anyways. But I put things, I had bought him conversation starters to like sit there and they prompt you. And so they ask you things about all sorts of stuff. And
I love that.
I do too. We use them at the dinner table with the kids, not these ones. These ones were like more for geared towards couples. But we have ones that sounds terrible.
Like
no,
your kids picking up the couple ones and like going through those. I can imagine what kind of questions are on the couple one.
Thank God, one, my kids are older. And two, yes, I mean, some of them were like, asking you risque questions. But I mean, they were very far and few between. You have a hair right here. Oh. I'm just going to get it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So then we also have a box that has a bunch of teen questions in there, and they're very cool. I highly recommend these cards. They're called Conversation Starter, I think, and you have them family and teens. That's the ones that we use at the dinner table, and they're awesome. And they ask them questions like, how did you help somebody today? Or when you do a good job, would you rather be told that or would you rather be taken out somewhere?
I love that.
You would love them for your girls. I think any family would love them. If you have dinner with your family, which we do on days that my kids aren't running all over creation, we actually attempt to sit down and have family dinners. They're fantastic. So I bought those. We're in the bathtub and I'm like, we're just going to take a bath and all the things. So we're in the bathtub and I had told Connor, I'm like, Connor, your brother gets done with lacrosse practice at this time. I need you to leave church at this time to go pick him up. And he was like, well, I want to take this girl out for ice cream. And I said, great. So leave church like 10, 15 minutes early, pick up your brother, bring him home, and then you can take her for ice cream. I'll let you do that. Okay. So Carson needed to be picked up, I think, like at 9. And so at 8:55, I'm looking at Life 360 to make sure that he's picking up his brother. And he's still at church. So I'm calling him, like I'm blowing up his phone. I'm now pissed, right? So I look at David and I'm like, we have to go pick up Carson. Like somebody has to pick him up. So David's like, I'll go get him. So he gets out of the bathtub, he puts his clothes on, he runs and he gets Carson. And then Connor comes home, or Connor called me. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he goes, sorry, I got caught up at church or whatever. And I'm like, dude, your dad had to get out of the bathtub. Like he knew what we were doing. He knew that we were like, I'm taking a bath with your dad. We're drinking champagne. We're eating chocolates. Like, leave us alone. And we're having conversations. And so I'm like, nothing else at that point, like literally having conversations. So anyways, he gets home about the same time David does. And David walks back in. He's like, you're still in the bathtub? And I'm like, yes, like we can't end like that. And he's like, okay. So he gets back in the bathtub. He turns on the faucet to like heat up the water, whatever. We're just talking. He goes to turn off the faucet. And as he moves his arm over, he hits his arm, like the underneath part of his arm, like the real sensitive part on the faucet. Well, when hot water runs through a metal faucet, it was hot. So he went, and he like pulled his hand up and hit the champagne flute. It flew, it broke in the bathtub.
Oh my
It didn't
God.
fly. I'm being dramatic. It didn't fly. It like fell over and broke in the bathtub. My Tiffany. Yeah, it's a Tiffany champagne flute. And I said wine, champagne flute. Anyways, it broke. So I'm like trying to pick up the pieces. He's like, oh my gosh, don't move. I'm like, okay, I'm not. You either. So he unplugged the bathtub. So we're letting it drain. And we have like bubbles that are like 4 feet tall. So I'm like trying to like push them down. It was just a clusterfuck. And then I'm like, okay. And I can feel like big shards. So I'm like picking them up and putting them in the glass and stuff like that. Well, he hands me a red Solo cup. He's like, don't put it in the glass. I don't want you to get cut. Put it in the red Solo cup. I'm like, okay. So I'm putting it in the red Solo cup. And I put it down and I go to get out and I missed one and I freaking cut my foot open. Did I not tell you this story?
No.
Oh, great. So I cut my foot open. I'm like, dang it. So here I am in a freaking towel looking for the Band-Aids. I'm like, where the hell are the Band-Aids? Well, because I reorganized my house, I put the first aid stuff in the laundry room. And I'm like, oh, but then I couldn't reach the top of the laundry room where I had the first aid kit. So David's coming out in his towel. And the kids are like, what's going on? I'm like, why don't we have Band-Aids everywhere? We need Band-Aids everywhere. No, we don't. We need Band-Aids only in one place. And I knew where they were finally. So he gets it down and whatnot. And then he goes in to wash down the bubbles and stuff, like to wash it all down to make sure like he got all of the shards down. And he picks up the red Solo cup that he gave me, fills it up with water, and flung all the freaking glass back into the tub. And he looks at me and he goes, what the hell? And I said, did you seriously just throw all the glass in there? He's like, I forgot that I gave it to you to put all the glass in.
Oh, no.
And I just start busting up. I'm like, what a shit show. This was a definite shit show. So anyways.
There were good intentions. That's
And
all that matters.
And I think that's why my heart was so happy, because I'm just like, you know what? And to be honest with you, we normally have very great date nights. Like we have amazing experiences most of the time. So I'm like, you know what? This will go down like for one in the books, like for sure.
Yes,
And he got me beautiful purple roses, and purple's my favorite color. And yeah, that's what I did. So what did you do?
Well, my Valentines were my daughters, basically.
I love that.
It was early release day, so I got to spend extra time, special one-on-one time with Juliana. And so I took her for sushi and gave her Valentine's Day present. And then I took Sienna after speech therapy. She wanted to, where did we go for her? Oh, Islands, of course.
Yes.
So she wanted to go to Islands for her special Valentine's Day dinner. And we did that. And then I had a lot of girlfriends texting me, Happy Valentine's Day. This was the thing that was kind of interesting. So I've been dating this guy. I'm not exclusive, but I was kind of dating this guy, and this one was the more serious of the people I was dating.
Sure.
In my mind, at least more frequent.
Uh-huh.
By like noon, my girlfriend's like, has so-and-so reached out to you? And I said, no. I said, I'm kind of getting irritated. Like, I don't understand what's happening.
Right.
8 o'clock rolls around, 8 p.m., and I have gotten texts from people from my past that have reached out and said Happy Valentine's Day. People that I've only gone out on a date, 1 or 2 that want to go on another date.
Sure.
But nothing from this guy that I'd just gone out with like 3 days prior. So we had a text convo a few days earlier, and I thought, or maybe a day earlier, and I thought, gosh, we were kind of bantering, but it's so hard to tell tone on text.
Right. But
So
you
then-
thought fun banter.
Yes.
Okay.
And I thought, oh shit, maybe like I offended him.
Oh.
So, and then I started to get like a little hyper vigilant in my mind
Sure.
and overthinking. So I sent a text and I said, you know what, fuck it. Happy Valentine's Day. And I get a response, you too, with like a heart emoji thingy. And, or like a dancing one. What
Is
are
this
those
the guy
called?
that's not really good at texting, though? He's not a fan of texting.
I don't think so.
I think he's not a fan of texting. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm talking about the same one.
So, and I said, I was beginning to think you were upset with me. And he said, why? And I said, well, it's 8 p.m. And after getting 27 Happy Valentine's Day texts, but none from the guy that I just went out with the other night, I was beginning to think that. I thought perhaps our text convo was like offensive to you. And he's like, I wasn't offended at all. And I said, oh, okay. And then he said, maybe you and I have different notions of what Valentine's Day is. And I said, please tell me, what is your notion of Valentine's Day? And he said, oh, well, to me, it's just like any other day. And it's only really for like people that are in long-term committed relationships. And he goes, 27? You got 27 messages? Like exclamation point. It's not from like guys I'm dating, but like between family and friends. And yes, I did.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, doesn't that diminish the value? And I said, diminish the value of Valentine's Day? No, it doesn't. For someone to have the opportunity to reach out, to just send well wishes or express some kind of sentiment, I don't think so at all. Like, not in the slightest does it diminish the value of Valentine's Day. And so he's like, oh, okay, understood. But then it kind of got me thinking, like, do I want to even be dating someone that so that was it kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
And then we decided after another like texting conversation, it's not going to work between us. I'm someone who wants connection. And even if we're not exclusive, I want to be able to feel connected to the person.
Of course.
And feel like they're thinking of me or anything like that. And I'm sentimental. So,
here's the thing.
saying no to some person is saying yes to other opportunities. And that's what I realized. I can't waste my time.
You know what? You're right. 100% right.
And he was a great guy. He was nice. I had a great time with him.
Yeah.
But I want more.
Well, I don't blame you at all. And let me just backtrack just a smidge, because Valentine's Day is about love. And I love my friends almost to where I make it awkward. Like, I will tell you that I love you. I have a very good client of mine. And every time before I hang up the phone with her, I'm like, okay, I love you and have a great day. And I will talk to you soon. She was a friend before she was a client. Our children, we were room moms together and stuff. And so, but I do love her. So I want her to know. So I probably go out of my way and make people feel uncomfortable. I'm sorry if I do. You know what? I'm not sorry, because when something happens to me and my time here on earth is over, there's not going to be one person that questions my love for them, because I've told them so many times, especially my children, bless them. I tell them at least 2 or 3 times before I actually hang up the phone or before they leave my house. So they will know how loved they are, but that's what we're celebrating. So even if you're the type of person, oh, we don't celebrate Valentine's Day. Okay, then what day are you celebrating love? Because to me, oh, well, we celebrate it every day. No, you don't though. Like, let's be real. To me, you're making true intentions on that day to show love to other people. And it doesn't have to be a romantic love. I had the same thing. I had Sheila text me. I had you and Janelle. Like, I had my friends also, Carrie. I had all my friends texting me Happy Valentine's Day and stuff like that. So to me, it's a way to show love. And here's the other point that I want to make. When you think of somebody and you let them know that you're thinking of them, to me, that just makes my whole day brighter. And it's funny because I use this a lot in real estate. Like, truth be told, I just do. When I go and show a client a house, if I drive by another client's property, I'm texting them. I drove by your house today. It made me think of you. I hope you're having a great day. Like, to me, that needs to be said. And it's funny because until you start texting people when you're thinking about them, you don't realize how many people you think about in a day. So many people you think about in a day. And it's funny, I had a dream last night and I can't remember now, but somebody who I haven't spoken to in a very long time, I don't remember who it was, it's going to bother me, was in my dream. And to me, it's like, okay, if I called you one day and was like, oh, I had a dream about you, like randomly off, like, that's weird. I get that. But hey, I was thinking about you the other day. I hope you're doing well. Like, I genuinely think of a lot of people throughout the day. So
I do the same thing. I always text.
See?
My very best friend, we've been best friends since we were 12.
I love her. If she's listening, I love you. She's the best.
And, oh, wait, you're thinking about another best friend.
Oh, I am? Oh.
I think just based on our conversations, I think you are.
I think so, too.
I've known them both since I was 12.
Oh, okay.
But she and I are complete opposites. So I'm very mushy and emotional, and I like to think deeply when it comes to that things, and I like to express myself. And she said to me, she goes, I don't even think I wish my husband a happy Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day. And she knows how I am, right?
Yes, yes.
And she has once said to me, and she had said that she knows that I love her unconditionally.
Aww.
And that there's very few people in her life that she's ever felt that way, and how much she appreciates that, right? Within the same conversation, she has told me that I love too hard.
Oh.
And that sometimes even when she gets texts from me, she's like, but then this is what I realized. Well, I already knew this, but there's 2 different kinds of people in this world.
Yes.
Expressors and non-expressors. And I'm an expressor.
Yes.
And I can have friends that aren't, but in a romantic way in a romantic connection, romantic relationships, I need someone who is also expressive, because when you're not getting your cup filled as well and you're just filling other people's, you get depleted and you forget like that you are lovable and you need those reminders. And so
I think that's true in everything, though.
Yes.
Not just even the way you express your love, but actually just in the way you express your love. Actually, that's probably better said, because people express their love differently, right? I got home from working all day yesterday and I made my family homemade sourdough bread. Like,
I saw that and I was hoping I was going to get a loaf when I came in
oh,
today.
shoot. I should have brought you. Well, I should have brought. I'm sorry. What a failure. Look at me. Look at me. Oh,
Where's my love? No, I'm just kidding.
Girl, I'm telling you, here's the thing. Sourdough bread, because I know it's all the rage right now.
Yeah.
Sourdough bread is a labor of love, because you have to stretch and fold, I think is what it's called. Yep. Okay. I knew Billy would know because his wife's doing it. His wife's like a professional, dude.
She is over there making some sourdough starter kits.
Not yet. Bianca's going to recruit him in a little bit. But you have to stretch and fold it 4 times in 2 hours. So every 30 minutes for 2 hours.
Oh my God.
With
when do you
all
have
due
time
respect,
to be stretching and folding over there?
I know. So I'm not going to lie. I totally did like the first stretch and fold. And then I called my mom and I'm like, hey, I have to go show homes today. And my mom works. So this was on a Saturday. I'm like, can I bring you my sourdough? Can you stretch and fold it for me? She's like, sure.
Oh my gosh, it's like a pet.
Yes, because I literally, I'm leaving for Orlando for work. I have a work conference in Orlando, and I'm leaving this weekend, and I'm freaking out that my starter's going to die. So I'm giving it to Kristen.
You have to do this to the starter daily?
Okay, no. So you have to feed your starter. So I feed my starter because I keep my starter in the fridge. I feed it once a week, but because I'm going to be gone a week, I feed it on Fridays normally. So because I'm not coming back until the following Sunday, I'm worried that if I don't feed it on that Friday, that it's going to die.
What do you feed it?
That's a great question. Everybody asks that. Just water and flour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's super easy. And then you mix it. Like it literally takes a whole 5 minutes. But even still, like it really is a labor of love. Then you have to measure everything out and then you put it all together. Then you let it sit for an hour. Mm-hmm. So you do it. Then you let it sit for an hour. Then you do your stretch and folds for 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And then what do you do? And then then at that point you can like stretch it out and put anything in it that you want. You roll it up and stuff, and then you can put it in a basket, and then it has to sit in your fridge for at least 4 hours. I usually let it go overnight.
Got it.
It's exhausting. Oh no, you know what? Maybe you don't. No, I think you let it sit overnight. I forget. But anyways, yeah, it's exhausting. Anyhow, I don't even know how we got on the bread subject.
That was your way that you expressed love yesterday to your family.
Thank you, friend. Yes. So, we all do things differently. So acts of service is huge for me. When you do things for me and take things off my plate, like I feel that's why I feel so loved by you, because in addition to you always telling me that you miss me and you love me, like, because at work, you take things off my plate and you're like, I was thinking of this is the checklist that I have today. And, this is what we need to go over and stuff like that, because you keep me so sane. I'm so grateful. And I'm like, thank you. So anyways, back to Valentine's Day. I will say, I'm going to have people's backs who don't say they love people, like who don't tell others that they love them. I understand that being very special, because I will tell you, David's very much like that. He will always tell me that he loves me. He will always tell our children and stuff, but I haven't ever heard him tell like his parents or anything. I mean, granted, I know that relationship is very different as well. Different meaning like we don't talk all the time. Not that he loves them any less by any means, but because they don't talk all the time and stuff like that, maybe that's why. But I know he loves his parents. He just has a different way of showing it. So I do know that, for some people, it's very special. And it takes, David and I dated for 9 months before he told me that he loved me.
Wow.
And homeboy loved me the day he saw me. Like, he tells me, I knew that I was going to marry you on our first date. Wow. And I said, really? And he goes, yes. And I said, so we initially saw each other on the freeway, and then we went on our first date, and then he invited me to go to Havasu, to Parker. We went to the river. And when we were there, I was the only girl there. He was friends with a bunch of my guy friends. So I was with all of them, and I'm like, are you guys hungry? What do you guys need? Very, very me. Mm-hmm. And so I made everybody dinner and stuff like that. And he was like, I knew then that I was going to marry you. Granted, at that point, we had only been dating for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, you didn't know right away that you wanted to marry me? And I was like, no, I was fucking 18. I didn't even know like what color I was going to wear the next day. How the hell was I going to know if I wanted to marry you? So it's very funny how things are different because I'm the one that told him that I loved him first. This whole thing is so lame. We were sitting in Pizzioli at a high top bar. It's a great local Italian restaurant in Chino. And it's family owned too, by the way. So shout out to them. But we were sitting at a bar top and we're eating. And he literally looks at me and he's like, when are you going to tell me that you love me? And I was like, I'll tell you right now. I love you. And he was like, oh, okay, I love you too. It's almost like he said that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, it's the vulnerability factor, I think. So
I agree.
Wanting to make sure that you're into, okay, now I can say it. Like, he knows that he's going to get it from you. And so there's not like that rejection factor. And being vulnerable.
It had been 9 months.
I know, but the fact that he asked you for confirmation before he could express it.
But I always tell him, I said I love you first because I did technically. Yeah. But anyways, so that was how my Valentine's Day went down. That's how the beginning and end of me and David. I feel like we've covered so much in this podcast. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming on again. I love you. And I get to see you next month because Nicole has volunteered to be a regular on the podcast. And who knows what we'll talk about. We'll probably say we'll start one way and we'll end completely somewhere else. So
most likely.
Well, I love your face and thank you so much. And thank you for covering me while I'm gone at my conference.
Of course.
I appreciate you.
Love you.
Love you, babe.
Bye. Bye. I know I'm saying bye.
You can say bye. I'm leaving too. I got a nail appointment.